So we have a 98 Mazda Miata, a waitress bought from the dealership. And as soon as she bought it, signed all the paperwork, and started to drive home with it, it started smoking and smoking heavily. You even saw a paper tag in it. And she doesn't know what to do. She can't afford to get it fixed properly. Everyone else wants $5,000 and above just to get it to go. But it does start, it does run, it does drive, it just smokes. And she says it uses 2 quarts of oil every time she drives it, so it's extremely heavy oil usage. I've never dealt with a Miata before, but an engine's an engine, so let's get it into the shop here. Alright, so with the hood open, I can see some signs that this engine has been into. For instance, that back bolt, that's not factory. You know, right here, it's completely busted off. Here, if you touch it, see, it's PVC valve shot. Someone zip tied this together. So there has been signs this engine has been into. I don't know how bad. So one of the things I want to do first to make sure we're not losing compression is I'm going to take the spark plugs out and actually do a compression test in all 4 cylinders. And if the compression is within 15% of each other, so if it's 150, 150, 135, 150, then they're all within spec. And I'll find that out, and if they're not within spec, then I know we have other issues going on causing the smoke. So let me do the compression test first. Alright, I just got done doing the compression, and the compression is good in all 4 cylinders. It's 140 to 150, so we are good there. But I noticed that the overflow tank is empty. So I pulled off the radiator, which looks like it might have been replaced once. But I see this fibrous looking material on the side. If you look on the cover here, it looks like fiber material. I think someone might have got this thing hot. I noticed if you look down here, I don't know if I can see it, but there it looks like to be, you see it in that little hole. It looks to be a new water pump put on. So if the water pump's been put on and they put in stop leak in a radiator, I have to assume the worst. So I'm gonna put some water in the radiator and start it up and see, just to see what happens. If we start getting white smoke real heavy out of the tailpipe, we know we got a cracked head gasket that's going into the coolant port. So let me fill it up and see what happens. So I started it up with more coolant in it, and everything turned out to be completely fine. I don't see a cracked head. I don't see a cracked head gasket. So that route is coming back negative. So I'm really liking that. That shows that someone actually took care. And preventive maintenance, maybe putting in a new radiator, putting in a new water pump before something bad happened and not afterwards. So that makes me feel better. Alright, welcome back. I did go out to the auto parts store, replaced the line, the PCV valve, the intake vacuum. So I got that all on. I noticed over here we have a port that's not being used. I don't know what that goes to yet. But as of now, I get all that back on and running. And I look at the tailpipe. And I don't see any smoke. So I'm gonna go take this around the block and see what's going on with it. Alright, I took the car around the block. I put about 20 miles on it. Got nice and hot. And I believe what was going on is the PVC valve, because it was broken, there was no actual valve in it. It was sucking the oil out of the valve cover, sucking into the intake, causing the smoke to come out of the tailpipe. Now they put on a PCV valve that actually works. Now they put on a PVC valve that actually works. There's no more smoke coming out of this car at all. So I think that issue has been solved. However, I found some other issues test driving that we might be going over here soon. One, the transmission is rocking a little bit, knocking a little bit. I checked the transmission fluid and it's about a gallon too much. Someone really overfilled that. I also feel a grinding in one of the wheels. It could be from sitting, could be brake rust. So I feel the grinding. It could be bad brakes, could be wheel bearing. So I'm going to put this thing up in the air and go over it. I told the young lady that the car has been fixed from smoking. She was ecstatic because, like I said, the other dealerships told her she needed a new motor and wanted $5,000 without doing any actual testing. So for 60 bucks, $30 in parts, $30 in labor, she is quite happy. She wants me to go over the car with a fine-tooth comb, check brakes, drain the transmission, put on a new filter, just go over it, fix anything that's wrong with it, because now she saved up the money to work on it. She wants it done and done properly. So that's going to be coming up next. But for this video, the smoking engine is fixed.